So with the Amiibo juggernaut at full speed, it is no surprise to see that Nintendo have implemented some Amiibo support in Mario Party 10. Now what that constitutes to is a all new Amiibo specific mode called Amiibo Party. In fact, this mode is locked off until you actually have an Amiibo to touch onto the gamepad to actually unlock it in the first place, and you'll need to do so every time you want to play Amiibo Party. Now this is a usual standard multiplayer Mario Party mode. Each player needs to have their own Amiibo. So say you've got 4 players and you've only got 1 or 2 Amiibo, then you're going to have to get some more Amiibo for everybody else. But otherwise, everyone has an Amiibo each, hopefully with different characters. And to select your character, you will touch your Amiibo onto the gamepad as normal. Now, what this mode is, it's quite unique. It's probably one of the most interactive implementations of Amiibo so far. And what that is so you pick your characters as normal, and the very first thing you are to do is to use your various Amiibo that are in play to select a board. And not just the board itself, because there are actually 4 segments of this board. It's in quarters. And what you can do is you can actually change each quarter of the board depending on what Amiibo you are using at the time. Now what these different parts do, they just change up the some of the board's features, some of the special abilities that appear, and things like that. Now this isn't static, this board. It can actually be changed throughout the game, either by picking up tokens or by using tokens that you can activate before you start the game. Each Amiibo you can actually assign a base to, which you can unlock by using other Amiibo, or you can get new tokens by either collecting tokens in games, and where it will save your progress. It'll also unlock those tokens for you to use in future, or you can either use other Amiibos to unlock some of those tokens. So Amiibo Party is relatively close to the original Mario Party formula. You have a board, in which case is a circle that you go round in circles on, and you have to pick up as many stars as you can. These stars will appear on the board, and when you reach them you will need to pay for them using coins that you earn during minigames or board events. And you'll keep going around for 10 turns, and the person with the most stars at the end wins. Of course there are minigames during the way, and there are all sorts of ways you can screw over your opponent, and where you can be screwed over by the game and your opponents as well. There are quite a few actions in the game that require you to touch your Amiibo onto the gamepad. So rolling the dice for your character, that involves touching the Amiibo onto the gamepad itself, or by just pressing A on the gamepad, which is probably a bit easier and a bit less annoying. You'll also need to touch your Amiibo to activate the tokens that you've collected or assigned to yourself, or even occasionally to move the roulette wheels for some of the events in the game. So that's pretty much the extent of the Amiibo support. As mentioned earlier, you can change some of those board pieces mid-game, just to change the course of the game a little bit, just to mix things up, which is quite nice. But there's probably not quite so much Amiibo interactivity as you'd like, really. It would be nice to have some sort of mini games the way you needed to use the Amiibo in some way. But fortunately it's kind of very, very static. It's kind of limited to just using the Amiibo to basically press A, which is a little disappointing, but at least there's some sort of Amiibo functionality there and it works. It's relatively fun. It's something a bit different. It's probably the closest to the kind of classic Mario Party formula that there is in the game, but there are some nice little touches to this mode. All of the players in the game are just little kind of pieces on the board, or Amiibo if they're Amiibo characters, and the computer characters are they're kind of almost like little paper characters on it with a little plastic base to show that they're not Amiibo created. Now, if you roll the dice, it will actually sometimes, if it hits the other characters, it will actually knock them over, which is a nice, amusing little touch. Just reiterating that it is almost like a proper board game for a change. It's nice little features, little details, it's little things. But overall, it's an enjoyable game. With the 10 turns, it can make games drag on a little bit too long. I must admit it's not my favourite of the modes, but it's something new. It's a good use for Amiibo. It's something different rather than just straight up new characters, new costumes, etc. It does do something a little bit different, so it should be commended for that. In terms of Amiibo support, there are several Amiibo characters that you can use with the game that are supported, but even if you don't have those characters, you can still get some sort of bonus by using your other Amiibo, namely due to a scratch card game. So if you use a non-supported Amiibo, it will bring up some scratch cards, scratch a few panels off, and you will get some Mario Party points which you can use to buy things in the shop, such as new characters, new maps, things like that. The last thing to bring to your attention is the whole thing where Amiibos can only support data for one game at a time, so be warned, if you have Smash characters that you have saved on there and you want to use them in Mario Party, be prepared to lose them. It's a bit disappointing that Nintendo haven't created some sort of backup program so that you can maybe back up the save for each Amiibo and so you don't actually lose everything. It seems a bit much to have to buy a new Amiibo every time you kind of want to use that one with a new game. I'm hoping that it's something that Nintendo will rectify. Maybe even be something that might be made a little easier when the Amiibo cards will be released at some point. It'd be interesting to see how that pans out, but it's a bit disappointing that some players will have to lose quite a lot of progress in order to use it with Mario Party or any other Amiibo games. As I say, it's a decent mode, something a bit different, and it's worth a go if you pick up Mario Party 10.